Welcome back to Petology, your place for all things pets. I'm your host, Blair, and joining me in studio now is Donna Middleton from Head to Tail Canine Nutrition. Now, of course, when we're talking about that, we're talking about what our dogs eat. Now, I've been in the pet food aisle once or twice. It's a very daunting place. Let's just say that. First of all, huge towers. I can't figure out what I want to look for. What should I be looking for from my dog in kibble?
Well, first of all, I believe that the first 5 ingredients are your most important ingredients that you want to look for in a dog food. That's going to be your most abundant. So the first 5 should be meat. They should be meat. Once the meat is processed, it loses all of its moisture and then it falls further down the list. So if say the first 2 ingredients is like lamb and rice,
okay,
and once it goes through the process, that lamb becomes dehydrated, falls down that list, and then all of a sudden the rice is your first ingredient. Now dogs are carnivores and they require meat to survive.
Okay.
So if there's a lot of carbohydrates in that dog food, it's going to tax the body's ability to thrive, you know.
So what would be the first ones we want for sure? Let's do a top 5.
Top 5 would be just meat.
Just meat.
Just
perfect.
Meat. Yeah. And the things you want to avoid in a dog food would be like BHT and BHA, which are preservatives
okay,
in some of the lower end dog foods. And those preservatives are known to be carcinogenic.
Okay, we don't want that.
You don't want that. The other things to avoid would be soy, wheat, corn. Those are things to avoid as well. All those are genetically modified. They're all Roundup ready with pesticides.
Okay.
They all have a negative effect on the dog's health.
Okay.
If your dog specifically has got, say, yeasty body and itchy and smelly, or they smell like taco chips, dogs aren't supposed to smell like that at all.
No.
So if they smell like
neither
tacos,
are we.
no.
But sometimes we do.
But and there's just a lot of yeast going on. And some of the ingredients in a food that may feed that yeast would be corn and wheat, a lot of carbohydrates, and that feeds the yeast.
Okay.
So those are some of the things you should look for.
So now you've took the time to learn a lot about the fresh food movement. What caused you, first of all, explain what that is, and then tell us like what caused you to make that change.
Well, several years ago, I adopted a dog from a shelter, and after a few months, she started to lose her coat. She started to smell like taco chips. She started to itch, and she wasn't thriving whatsoever. So somebody suggested I try some fresh food, which I did, and I noticed a huge change in her. Her coat came back, she got healthy, she bulked up, and she just became happier. But I didn't know what I was doing, you know? And my vet didn't know, nobody knew, so I looked into researching and found some courses, did some courses, and learned about how to feed her properly, a balanced meal. And then ever since then, I've been feeding my dogs nothing but fresh food. It took me a while to get there. It was a slow process. It's a learning curve. You know, I started off with a little bit here and a little bit there, you know. Maybe Sunday breakfast she'd get fresh eggs with, you know, with some salmon or something or fish, whatever, you know, and then I've just kind of built up around that.
Okay, so now you mentioned it a little bit. How did the animals react? Of course, you said some of the coat came back, they turned around a little bit, but how was their overall demeanor?
Oh, behavior-wise, I've seen dogs that have had some issues, behavior issues, on a kibble diet and put them on a fresh diet, and those behavior issues subside dramatically. And then they've gone out and been put back on a kibble diet, those issues have come back. And so some dogs, yes, they really react to the ingredients in certain foods.
So one thing, sorry to cut you off there, one thing that just dawned on me when you said that, when, you know, a lot of things, these kibbles tends to stay, I'm going to say, ready to eat whenever they want to. Now, when we're talking about fresh food, some people might be worried about that there's an added cost. How would you respond to that?
Depending on where you are in your kibble cost, I mean, there's the low end, there's high end, right? I was on the high end of the kibble when I was doing kibble, and the fresh that I do now is actually cheaper.
Okay. Let's take a look at some of the examples you brought with us today.
So what I brought here, I've got, this is pork heart.
Okay.
which is very rich in vitamin A.
Let's move this up a little bit. There we
Okay,
go.
with vitamin A's and iron. We've got broccoli, and broccoli is very rich in vitamin C and lots of antioxidants. We've
Okay.
got there's some blueberries in here, which are antioxidants as well. We've got the mackerel, and the mackerel is got your balance of your omega-3 and your omega-6. It's balanced with bone and calcium and phosphorus. Then we've got this one here. I'm going to turn it this way.
Sure.
This is kind of disgusting, but this is tripe.
Tripe.
Do you know what tripe is?
I don't.
Tripe is the stomach lining of an animal,
Okay.
of a herbivore. So this is the lining. If I turn it over, you can actually see the other part of the lining of
Okay.
So the tripe has got all your good bacteria. It's very important for an animal to have good bacteria in the gut.
Sure. Now, when we're talking about this kind of food, or this whole movement, where would you recommend that people go? Because of course this is a choice,
Oh,
as
absolutely.
you said. Where would you go to find some more information?
Well, Dogs Naturally magazine is putting out a course starting next month on how to learn about this. I think the first session is all about kibble and things to look for in kibble or things to avoid in kibble, and then they build on it from there. I think there's going to be a 3 to 4 part course. So, but if you don't want to do the course, even just getting their magazine or going on their website or going on their Facebook page, there's all kinds of great information there. I post quite a bit on my Facebook page, my Head to Tail page as well. So I posted, Dr. D. Blanco did a 47-minute segment on how to fresh feed.
So there's definitely lots of
There's
information
lots
out
of
there
it there.
for
It's a
people to
lot,
get.
yeah.
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for this, for
you're very
stopping by
welcome.
today. Now, we're going to take a short break, but first, let me tell you about this really cool Twitter contest we have. First of all, what you need to do is you need to go onto Twitter and you need to follow us at Shaw TV Winnipeg, and then you're going to have hashtag Petology TV. And what we want you to do is name this guy right here. He's swimming around. He's having fun. Now, if your name gets chosen as the winner, your pet will be featured on an upcoming episode of Petology, which is super cool because this show is super cool and we're cool. And let's be honest, our pets are cool. So good luck in the contest, and we'll be right back with more Petology.